Hi guys, welcome to a new tutorial. On a previous video, I showed you how to make a bar chart. Now I'm going to show you 4 different ways to format it so that it looks more professional, like this one, like this one, like this one, or like this one. So if you liked the video, don't forget to like and to subscribe. If you have any doubts, you can also leave a comment in the section below. Also, don't forget that you can download the sample file in the description. So let's get started. So the first design is going to be pretty easy. It will only take us 3 steps. So let's get started. The first thing that I want to do is to select my chart, and I want to go up to the chart design menu, and I'm going to select on the chart styles the style number 4. There we go. Now I'm going to change the colors of the chart, so I'm going to click in here on change colors, and I'm going to select the colorful palette 4. And there we go. And as a final step, I'm going to go up to the home menu. So I'm going to change the font to Sego UI because this is one of my favorite fonts. I think it looks very nice, and I'm going to press enter. And there we go. So in those 3 steps, we're done with our first design. So the first thing that I want to do with my chart is to select it, and I'm going to go up to the chart design menu, and this time I'm going to click here on change chart type, and this is going to bring up this pop-up window. So I'm going to select in here on the cluster column the second style that is appearing there. So there we go. Now I want to go up to the chart style section, and I'm going to change the colors, and I'm going to pick the colorful palette number 4. There we go. Now I'm going to insert the chart title because it disappeared with this style. So I'm going to click here on add chart element. I'm going to click on chart title above the chart, and I'm going to change it to sales. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do with my chart is to go to the add chart element, and I'm gonna remove the grid lines. So I'm gonna check in here on primary major horizontal to remove this grid line. There we go. Now I want to add data callouts, so I'm gonna click in here on add chart element. I'm gonna look in here on data labels, and I'm gonna click on data callout. Now I need to change what the callout says, because right now it's displaying the actual sales and the title sales. All of them have the title of sales, which is useless. So I'm gonna change each one individually because I cannot change them all at once. So I'm gonna select the first one, and I'm gonna right click on format data labels. And on the right pane, I'm going to click on the series name, so that the callout now is displaying the customer, and I'm gonna uncheck the category name. Okay, so now it's displaying the customer and his sales. And as a final step in here, I want the separator to be a new line. So I'm gonna click in here, and there we go. So we're done with our first data label. So I'm gonna repeat the process for all of them, clicking on the series name, removing the category name, and adding a new line as separator. Okay. Okay, so now I'm done with my data callouts. So I'm gonna go back to the home menu, and I want to make sure that I have selected the whole chart, and I'm going to change the font to Century Gothic. Okay, now we have 2 more steps to go. So still with the whole chart selected, I'm going to make everything bold. All right, and I'm going to remove the x-axis because it's not very useful. So I'm gonna select it and I'm gonna press the delete button. And there we go. So we're done with our second design. Now for our third design, the first thing that I want to do is to select my chart, and I'm gonna go up to the chart design menu, and I'm gonna select on the chart styles the style number 2, which has a line that separates each bar. Alright, so now I'm going to select my bars, and I'm gonna right click on Format Data Series. Okay, and on the right pane, I'm going to click here on the Fill and Line. I'm gonna click on Fill, and I'm gonna look for the option that says Vary Colors by Point, so that each bar has a different color. Okay, there we go. So now we're gonna give the bars a different look, so I'm gonna click in here on Effects, and I'm gonna add a shadow. So I'm gonna click in here, I'm gonna look on the presets, so I'm gonna click in here, and I'm gonna look on the intersection. I'm probably gonna use this one, the inside bottom right. There we go. And I'm gonna change the transparency of the shadow to 25%. Okay. There we go. And I'm gonna change the blur of the shadow to 10 points. Alright. And now I'm gonna go up here on the series options, and I'm gonna make my bars a little bit wider. So on gap width, I'm going to change it to 150%. So now my bars are a little bit wider. So now I'm going to select the whole chart again, and I'm gonna go up to the home menu, and I'm gonna change the font to Arial, which is one of the most professional looking fonts that you can find. I'm gonna type enter, there we go. And now I'm gonna select my data labels. So still on my home menu, I'm gonna click here on bold. There we go. And I'm gonna change the size to size 10 so that they are more visible. And I'm gonna change the font color to this dark gray. And there we go. So now we are done with our third design. So for our last design, this is also a pretty easy one. So I'm gonna start by selecting my chart, and I'm gonna go up to the chart design menu, and in here on the chart styles section, I'm gonna look for the style number 13. There we go. Now I'm going to change the colors of it, so I'm gonna click here on change colors, and I'm gonna look on the monochromatic scale, the style number 4. There we go. Now I'm going to remove the grid lines of the chart, so I'm going to select the chart again, and on the chart design menu I'm going to click on add chart element. I'm going to look for the grid lines, and I'm going to remove the primary major horizontal, and I'm going to do the same thing with the primary major vertical. There we go. So now I'm going to select the whole chart, and I'm going to go up to the home menu, and I'm going to change the font to this Verdana font, which is one of the most professional looking fonts. There we go. And now as a final step, I'm gonna select my bars, and I'm gonna right click on Format Data Series, and on the series options section, I'm gonna change the gap width to 200% so that they are a little bit wider. And there we go. So that's it. We're done with our last design. Alright guys, I hope that video was useful. If it was, please don't forget to leave a comment, to like, and to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and you'll be motivating me to upload more tutorials for you. Also, don't forget that you can download the sample file in the description below. So, thanks again, and see you next time!